People magazine just released this interview with Linda Evangelista about her CoolSculpting experience. I'm probably going to call her Evangeline Lilly at some point. I keep getting them confused. Linda Evangelista was a hugely successful supermodel back in the 90s. She's known as like one of the most successful models of all time, apparently. You've probably seen her. I didn't know her name before this. I don't know many. I know Naomi Watts or Naomi Campbell and Tyra Banks. Those are like the two model names I know. Point is, Linda Evangelista, she retired back in the late 90s, 98, but then she came back to modeling in 2001 and continued modeling until undergoing this CoolSculpting procedure on her chin, her back kind of bra area, and her inner thighs. CoolSculpting or Cryolipolysis is a non-invasive fat reduction procedure. So the goal is the same as liposuction to remove fat. It does this by essentially freezing the fat cells and hopefully killing them and reducing the number of fat cells you have, thereby making the targeted area a bit slimmer. It can't remove as much fat as lipo can, but again, the benefit here is that it's non-invasive. I say hopefully killing the fat cells because the opposite can happen, where instead of the fat cells dying off, they actually expand. It's called Paradoxical Adipose Hyperplasia, and it happens about 1% of the time. Unfortunately, this is what happened to Linda Evangelista. So instead of looking thinner, she now has bulges around the areas that she had targeted, her bra area, her inner thighs, and her face. And she says these are not soft. It's not soft fat. It's actually hard protrusions that can be painful, particularly her thigh area. When she walks, they can rub together. There can be a lot of chafing and a lot of pain. She did have some reconstructive lipo surgery done, I think on 2 different occasions in 2017, but they were not successful. So now she is suing CoolSculpting and the parent company Zeltic to the tune of $50 million for lost wages and emotional damage. So obviously every single medical procedure has side effects, whether it's invasive or not. Lipo does as well. Some people have actually died from liposuction. That's the risk you take when you undergo an elective procedure. That's the risk Linda Evangelista took when she decided to get CoolSculpting. The reality is that paradoxical adipose hyperplasia was already known. It was already well documented as a side effect of CoolSculpting. Now, she says she did not know about this until after the fact, until it happened to her. According to her attorney, there was no mention of this, of PHA, on their website when Evangelista had it done, again back in 2015, 2016. They say a warning was not included on the homepage until February 2019, which is absolutely terrible. I don't think anyone would deny that. But I think in terms of a lawsuit, it might come down to what information she actually received. Because typically when you get, say, a medication or a vaccine or some sort of surgery, you're going to receive a lot of information. Like when I get my antidepressants, every single time I go to get my antidepressants, no matter how long I've been taking them, I get a bunch of pages of information on the antidepressant, how to take it, and all of the side effects. So it's very likely she received something like that, describing all of the potential side effects of cryolipolysis. So if she did, I don't know, I would be surprised if this case goes anywhere, but what do I know? I'm not a lawyer. Also, I personally find her brutally disfigured comment really tone deaf. Now, looks are subjective, of course, but brutally disfigured, really? I don't know. Like, there are people who have burns over the majority of their body, serious 3rd-degree burns. Their entire face looks completely different. That's brutally disfigured. You know, that woman who was attacked by the chimpanzee years ago, that's brutally disfigured to me. Those protrusions are unsightly, certainly, but she is still a beautiful woman. But this is the same person who once joked that she wouldn't wake up for less than $10,000 a day, so I don't know, I guess tone deaf is her middle name. So those were basically my thoughts on the matter. It's terrible what she's going through, but the reality is the risks were already known, and there's a good chance she had access to this knowledge, not just via the internet, but actual material she received about the procedure. So the lawsuit, I don't know. And also, I'm glad that she's coming forward about this, because the reality is this is an elective, unnecessary procedure. So it is good that people know about the risks, even if they are pretty unlikely. And then I read the comments, specifically some replies on Twitter. If you're overweight and hate it, work out and eat right. Simple as that. Just because you have fat in a particular area that you want to reduce doesn't mean that diet and exercise are going to help you with that. Spot training is not a thing, no matter how many obnoxious fitness influencers tell you otherwise. You can reduce fat via diet and exercise, but you cannot control where that reduction happens. So if you carry weight around your middle and like your love handles and back like I do, you may have more fat in that area than you would like, even though you're maintaining a healthy weight. That's just the way it is. And here's a personal trainer saying basically the same thing, which is just so much worse. Someone who should know better. Again, exercise does not target fat. Liposuction, cryolipolysis do. This is exactly what they do. They are targeted fat removal. I'm guessing this is why Linda Evangelista had it done. She wanted fat removed in those specific areas. This looks like normal things that happen to people's bodies. It definitely doesn't do what she thinks it does to show us. I agree when it comes to her face. Maybe she looks a little bit puffy, but she still looks beautiful to me. I don't know. But the bra area and the thigh area, that is clearly not normal. It's clearly a protrusion. It's not just her gaining weight and getting bigger. Yeah, and as she says, they're painful. Why are people so terrified of letting age happen? Because aging sucks. I mean, your body doesn't work as well as it once did. You're often in pain a lot more from just little things like bending down. You're getting closer to death, and most of us don't want to die. I'm not saying we should all just be like, oh my God, it's terrible to age. I mean, you have to accept it, at least at this point. We still have to age. And so you have to come to terms with it. It still sucks. Aging still sucks. Also, her job, which she was still doing at the time, again, she started modeling again in 2001. Her job is to look pretty. There's a good chance she thought this would enhance her career or was necessary to continue her career. It's a little bit different than the average person. The most ridiculous content I've seen today. There are women who have suffered acid attacks who go out into the world every day. And can we please stop using cruel words like deformed? People are their individual personalities, not their external packaging. Again, I agree her choice of wording was not best, was pretty awkward, but I don't think she should stay silent because other people have it worse. Literally everyone has it worse. No matter what terrible thing you can think of, someone else has it worse. So no one should ever talk about their problems. And again, this is an elective procedure. This is totally unnecessary. It is not saving any lives. It costs thousands of dollars just to remove a bit of fat. It's in my mind, frankly, a ridiculous use of money. So if her account is making people think twice about getting this done, good. Of course, that then might extend to things that are actually life-saving, medically necessary procedures and medications. We already see that with vaccines. People won't get a free shot because of the well under 1% chance of an allergic reaction. Even some elderly, they'll risk COVID to avoid the tiny chance of an allergic reaction, even though the risk of being hospitalized with COVID is far higher, far greater. Not sure where I'm going with that, but point is, cryolipolysis is not medically necessary and it's not free by any means. So I think people should be well aware of the risks before opting in. As a kid, I thought she was ethereal. As an adult, I better understand the impossible standards we place on women. Glad to see she's in a good place, and I wish her well. That was just a really sweet one I wanted to share, and also to comment on the impossible standards we place on women. Unfortunately, women ourselves are playing a role in promoting those standards. Just look at Instagram and the bubble butt, anti-hip dips craze. Now, to be clear, I have no problem with people getting, you know, cosmetic procedures. Again, I don't think it's a good use of money in 99% of cases. It's very expensive. But women getting it done and openly talking about it, I think, is really good. The issue is that many do not. In fact, some pretend they achieved results like this through diet and exercise. You cannot grow fat around your hips from hip thrusting and hip abductions or whatever else. Like, no one's hips naturally look like that. Like a Pixar mom come to life. Anyway, IG Famous, I think is her account now. IG Famous by Dana. I forgot what it used to be called, something else. Hers is a really good account to follow for information like this, exposing people like this, one that is not misogynist. That's what I've found. There are lots of accounts exposing celebrities and influencers, but they seem to do it because they just really hate the idea of women getting anything done, because now it's fake and like they're tricking men or something. It's super gross. Dana's not like that. She's not anti-cosmetic procedures. Again, she's just anti-celebrities, influencers getting these procedures done and then lying about it, or, you know, pretending that they got these results from exercise and supplements, or booty programs and supplements. Again, no one achieves these results from booty programs and supplements. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. And to be clear, there were some good comments too, particularly after a while. There were a bunch of people saying like, oh my God, I can't believe the lack of empathy I'm seeing in these comments for someone who clearly is struggling with something, you know, whether you agree with, again, her wording or how bad this really is. It's still someone who had a terrible result, a procedure gone wrong, a medical procedure gone wrong. It still sucks. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've had cryolipolysis done, yeah, I'd like to know your experience. I learned about it, I guess, a few years ago after we moved to Portland. There was a place close by where we lived that was advertising it, CoolSculpting specifically. And I was like, what? That seems like a scam. So I looked it up and was like, oh, it's not. It's actually a thing. Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense. And then I soon learned about the Paradoxical Adipose Hyperplasia. So I already knew about that before this story because I was just interested in CoolSculpting. But yeah, even just a little bit of Googling, I was able to find out about it. Again, this would have been in like 2017, 2018. She had the procedure done in 2015, 2016. So, you know, who knows, maybe it was harder to find that information then. But yeah, I remember reading a case report about a man, I believe, because it is more common in men. Stomach, I think it was, started growing after the CoolSculpting. Yeah. It's terrible. Anyway, thanks again for watching. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you want to subscribe, of course, subscribe. That's cool. If you want to be notified when I upload, you can hit the bell. And thank you so much to patrons over at patreon.com/unnaturalvegan. And yeah, thanks again. New video soon.